grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. God morning, God afternoon, and God evening to all. My name is Justin B. I am a son of an all-powerful, perfectly loving God, and the host of this podcast, where I sit down every week and sit down with my good friend and sister, Nikki M., the spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, and we get to talk about all sorts of cool things. Nikki, why don't you come off mute and talk to us a little bit about yourself and what's going on in your life?
Hi, everybody. I'm a grateful member, and as Justin said, I'm Nikki M, and I'm his sister, and he's my brother, and we sit down here, and today I'm really pumped up in gratitude. Justin, and we always talk when we sit down, just say, how are you? Little catch up, and Justin just shared a miracle with me, and I've experienced the same miracle, which is the relief of the obsession of that money, the obsession of that programming around obligations and money and what the world means and just all that old belief system, and that we both are really entering into what our big book says is a spirit world and a new attitude. So it seems that we're both sitting here fresh as a Mountain Dew spring on a time change day, because everybody, if you're out there, Justin laughs, yep, because a time change eats my soul. So I'm just really, if you don't believe this what we're talking about here, if you don't believe it, please just stay, because if it can work for me and Justin, it can work for you. I'm just grateful, Justin. Thank you.
And I'm grateful too, Nikki. And I'm going to share a little bit about what's going on in my life. I shared this with you earlier. I've been implementing a prayer the last couple of weeks in my daily life. It's empty me, fill me, use me. And as I've been praying this, and empty me of the selfishness, just whatever it is that's eating my soul. Empty me of the resentment towards these clock changes. Fill me with acceptance that I can't change that. And use me to do your work. It has revolutionized the way that I am being guided by my higher power, and it's been really cool. So everybody out there, if you feel like that might be helpful, implement that idea, that prayer. Empty me, fill me, use me. All right. Let's jump into Noodle It Out with Nikki. Nikki, what we do here, and our listeners out there who may be new to this, is we take a question or a concern or a problem that people have sent to us or that we encounter in our own lives and take it to the big book, where Nikki dives through, runs all around it, and noodles it out and finds a solution in the big book to pretty much any problem we have encountered so far in our lives. And today we're going to bring a question and a situation that comes in from somebody who saw Nikki speaking on a live Facebook recording here in the last couple of weeks. And I'm just going to read what this says, and then we're going to dive through it. Nikki, you're doing wonderful things for the newcomer and people under 5 years trying to learn how to stay sober. I like what you said today about the big book can help not just with alcohol and drugs, but sex, porn, gambling addiction, of any kind of addiction at all. I found after many years of sobriety that my foundational problems were alcohol, anger, resentment, selfishness, self-centeredness, and self-pity and victimization. But my biggest problem these last few years is I'm addicted to adrenaline rushes, and I can become addicted to good and bad things and overdo it. So, Nikki, how do we deal with? We've talked before about addiction transfer, going into different things, but I don't think we've ever really talked about this adrenaline rush and the addiction to good and bad things. Let's see what the book says. What does the book say, Nikki?
Well, the book says a lot about this, and I just love this subject about all addictions and afflictions. I love how this person, and thank you for being here and listening, family, and don't forget your seventh so we can reach not just each other, but we can reach people who really need to be reached. You understand? We need to get this out there. We're in here saving lives, and God is using us, and I'm just so grateful. But I love this, Justin, and I snickered to myself when I heard it. It's like, I found after many years of sobriety that my foundational problems were alcohol, anger, resentment, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, your foundational problem is, let's just read it, selfishness and self-centeredness. That's it. Not your alcohol, not your anger, not your resentment. Like the book says, page 62, selfishness and self-centeredness. That is the root of your trouble. So, we do talk a lot about it. And even my sponsor, I mean, he was just on here, I think on our other pod, on your other platform where you have speakers and you're doing a series on step 5, Cameron F. And he is an all addictions, all afflictions guy. And it starts in the center, as our friend David G says, our other podcast. God, you're a little podcast master, aren't you, Justin? And he says self. So let's just establish that first. When anybody comes and says, I know what my problem is, especially after many years, and it's this and that. No, alcohol was your solution. Anger was your solution. Being resentful is your solution. I will agree that the foundational problem is selfishness and self-centeredness. Absolutely. So now that we've established what your foundational problem is, and now that you've added on another addiction, today on our noodle meeting, which is, of course, a service meeting for this podcast, and where we all meet and we get together every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I added out, and I'll tell you what I started with, Justin. I have my notes right here. It was, um, let's add something new also to the 300 addictions out there, okay? Because there's 300 fellowships for 300 addictions. You're addicted to chaos, everybody, and we all wrote that down as a group, the 100 plus of us. Addicted. Are you addicted to chaos? Are you addicted to the story? See, a lot of people, they'll put down the alcohol, the drugs, the sex, the porn, all these 300 addictions, overeating, blah, blah, blah. And then these little ones, I'm addicted to the story. See, my biggest problem, I'm addicted now to adrenaline rushes. You see what I mean? You're addicted to anything that is good or bad. That's anything. You're addicted to the story, to the chaos. There's a million addictions we can talk about. So let's go deep here. Page 14, we're going to read that. And I want you to come in a little bit. Justin, let me read a few things and then you gather your thoughts. I know you take little notes here, but it's this. It says very simple. Simple, but not easy. A price has to be paid. It meant the destruction of self. And then, of course, it says self centeredness. And we were on our meeting today, and our friend Guitar Tom, he's always like he comes in, he's my first friend in the fellowship 14 years ago. And he said, well, you didn't say the centeredness part. I said, I just like to go in for self. I don't mean kill yourself. I mean destruction of self. So you are this empty vessel. Back to your prayer. Empty me. Empty me. Destruction of self. Empty me. I must turn in all things. Empty me. I have to turn in all things so you can fill me. I need to turn in all things to the Father of light, Mother of light, so I can be, oh, there it is. Fill me with the light. Oh, there it is. I mean, God's using us. Oh, there, God's using us. We got emptied so we could really get channeled this morning, Justin. And so there's that, page 14. Now let's all roll to page 42. Okay, where it says this. Quite as important was the discovery. See, we're here to discover things. We're here to uncover, discover, and discard everything. So, as our brother Justin said, we can be empty vessels that can get filled up with the spiritual principles and we can be used for greater purpose. God, I love that prayer. And I'm going to put that in everywhere, all my post-its around. Here it is, page 42, bottom paragraph, and then jump in here and then I'll take us to another page because I know there's some things going on in your mind. Quite as important was the discovery that spiritual principles would solve all my problems. All. So, what I would suggest to our friend here who's just found our podcast and loves the things that we are doing, because it's not Nikki, I'm doing none of this without all of you and my definitely my brother Justin, is that I would change your focus rather than to be like, I'm addicted to this, I'm addicted to this, I'm addicted to that. How about to who can I help? What can I do to help somebody? How can I help others? Like, do you see what I mean? It's a change in your perception here where your focus, you're not focusing on what you're addicted to, rather you're focused on how you can be helpful using these things. Like, it's like it, and come here, let me take us to one more page and then you come in, Justin, so I can get some more thoughts around this. But it's basically it's in the stories and it's page 419. 419, it's like, when I focus on what's good today, I have a good day. So if I focus on my superpowers about being a child of God, being able to get humble and help others and be a servant and all these great things, then things go pretty good. But if I focus on what's bad, like another addiction, like me being now I'm addicted. Hi, I'm an addict. I need. How about no? I'm a child of God and I got superpowers, so let me go spread them around and help instead of hi, I'm an addict and I need to be addicted to something else. See, because that's focusing on the problem. See, if I focus on the problem, all my addictions, the problem increases. Whoa, there it is. I get more addictions. But if I focus on the answer, God, empty me, fill me, use me. If I focus on that, Justin, come in and let me get some more thoughts around what you're saying.
Yeah, so some thoughts that I'm having here from my own experience and my own interactions with people and myself. So often the focus on how my day went is, and I'm just going to get right into this with some of the people I work with. I work with sex addicts, and most of them are male, and married males is most of what I do, what I work with in my sponsorship and in the networks that I'm in. And oftentimes they'll say, "Yeah, I had a great day yesterday with my wife." And what that meant is they got lucky. They got laid. And I'm like, "Good. How was your connection otherwise?" Well, apparently good enough because and the focus is on still getting to that that's what determines a good day is if I have sex that day. And I think that is often still in that addiction mindset and not in the solution. Yes, the result of that is fantastic. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. That's amazing. But was your focus the whole day? Did you manipulate things, connection, so that, you could get lucky? And I think with this, what we're talking about here, I'm addicted to the adrenaline rush and to good and bad things. I'm focusing on the result, the end result of things rather than on the process. I'm still putting my focus on some future that I hope and try to dictate the outcome of that future rather than, you know what, I want to be here to serve, I want to be here to love, I want to be here to help rather than I'm here so that I can have this adrenaline rush, so that I can get off, so that I can, whatever it looks like at some future time. And if that doesn't happen, it's not going to be a quote good day. So as I share that with you, Nikki, does that open any other
It
avenues
it
for you?
it does. You took me, of course, to page 23 where it's my thought life. Okay, so this is all about your thoughts. And then you said focus on the day, and then I thought about the food addicts, because you don't just we sponsor everybody, because once your guy puts down the food sacks, he picks up the food, and then now he's upset because he's now he's got to focus on the gym because he's gained the 100 pounds or whatever it looks like. And I always tell my like people, it's like, well, let's not just focus on the sugar we eat today. It's within the week, right? So like they're focusing on that day. I ate sugar today or I had sex today. Well, what about let's zoom out for the week? How was the week? Focus. How was the month overall? Because you got to fight that day. Oh, today was the worst day. Well, overall, you actually had a pretty good month because you and your wife haven't had too many fights. You see, like, when you zoom out on the greater thing rather than focus, because that leads me in, and these are the notes I wrote that led me to page 84 in my mind. I didn't turn anywhere. I was just thinking, it's like, this is not an overnight matter. So why are you focusing on just like the adrenaline rush for the day? Like, this is a lifestyle. See, we're supposed to be in a position of neutrality. We're not supposed to be in a position of high and lows. We're supposed to be in a position of neutrality. And we've said it before, but maybe it's time for story time. Alan Watts does it best, and there's a 2-minute YouTube video, so Google it. It's the Chinese farmer story, but let's go there again, Justin, for story time. The position of neutrality, safe and protected. There's a Chinese farmer, and he's got a son and a horse. And that's all he has in the world. And one day the horse gets out, and all the villagers come running out and say, "Oh my God, this is awful. What will you and your son do? This is all you have is this horse." And the Chinese farmer says, they're like, "This is awful." And he's like, "I don't know. I don't know if this is good. I don't know if this is bad. I don't know." And so then the next day they go to bed. The next day, the horse comes back and he brings back 5 more wild horses. And the village comes, "Oh my goodness, this is so great, farmer. Now you're so rich. You and your son have it all." And the Chinese farmer goes, "I don't know if this is good. I just don't know. Is this good? Is this bad? I don't know." And the next day, the son goes out to train one of the wild horses and gets thrown off and breaks both his legs and is maimed. And all the villagers running, "Oh, this is awful. Your son is ruined for life. This is awful. What are we going to do?" And the Chinese farmer says, "I don't know if this is good or bad." And the next day, the Chinese army comes through and takes all abled boys in the village. And his was the only son that didn't go. So do you see the end of the story is we don't know what is good, what is bad, this adrenaline rush good, this adrenaline rush bad. We are to remain in this. This is the whole point of this program is to remain in a position of neutrality. We don't know. I don't know. Safe and protected. See, the book says more will be revealed. So, this is where I really wanted to go right when I heard this about addictions and afflictions. I'm addicted to this, I'm addicted to that. Page 135, everybody. Let's turn there because here it is. Here's a case in point. One of our friends, the person who wrote in, was a heavy drinker and smoker and sorry, one of our friends is a heavy smoker and coffee drinker. So he's got all these other addictions. There was no doubt that this person is overindulging in his adrenaline excitement and his all these other addictions he's become addicted to. Like we were talking about at the beginning, you and I, we can put down our other main obsessions, Justin, but the money obsession took a while, right? There's no doubt we're overindulging in this obsession of whatever it is. Seeing this and meaning to be helpful, you know, some of you don't even have a wife to admonish you. How about you just do it to yourself? You just commence to admonish. You just self loathe. You flog yourself. You start hating. You start putting expectations on yourself that you're not where you need to be. And then you admit to yourself that you're overdoing some of these things. Okay? You admit it. I'm thinking too much about money. This person's admitting it. I'm addicted to adrenaline. They're admitting it. Okay. And then it says his wife, but we don't have wives or husbands here. This is first person. So we are one of these people, and we feel there's something rather sinful that even though Justin and I are sober off this ailment, we're still indulging in other things, right? And we're seeing these things as and so we start to nag ourselves, we start to be killjoys, we start to take ourselves hostage in our mind, self-loathing and flogging, and intolerance of self will throw us into a fit of anger, rage, hate, resentment, which my line out on page 135 says go back to page 66 because this fit of anger and rage will kill me. I will what? Get drunk? I will go what? Get under your husband? I will start acting out. You see? So right now this person is addicted to a little bit of an adrenaline. So what? Why is everything do or die here? So what, you want to jump out of a plane? I mean, is this going to kill again, page 420. How important is it? So of course our friend is wrong, dead wrong. So maybe consider this friend. Are you dead wrong to be getting crazy because you are overindulging a little bit when your alcohol problem is gone, when your resentment problem is gone? I mean, like how important is it really? Because it says, you know, I'm sure I mean, you were on the program I'm on. That's how you heard us. And so you're here really wanting this with me and Justin. You're really here wanting it on the Facebook Live where you found us. And so you really are an effective member of any of the anonymouses you're in. And even though you still are a little bit addicted to adrenaline rushes, as long as like you're not remortgaging your home to jump out of an airplane. You see, it takes two to see one. Are you talking to your sponsor about this? Is it helpful? Like whatever your adrenaline rush is, like if you're going with your son or your daughter or your buddies to the go-kart racing, and that's a way better form of, rather than going to the bar and the strip club, I'd rather see that. Now, if you can't pay your rent, well, you're hiring the balloon and the private jet to throw you and your buddies out of a plane, then we should probably reconsider this. But is it helpful or not? Yes or no? And if it's helpful, then it's wrong to make a burning issue out of such a matter. Let God be God. Let God be perfect. Page 60, we aren't saints. So, Mr. Adrenaline Junkie, as long as you're not, it's not, here it is, unmanageable, then what's wrong? Because, see, this is where I go deep. Like, this is where the rooms get too crazy. And that's why, sir, because you come from that background, that militant religion and that, I don't know even where it says it in the book, but this, and I know they do talk about it somewhere about like this what would you call it, the word for it, like this, like you do have to conform, but not in the way they, that our old belief system was. Justin, help me out here.
Yeah, and yeah, that militant confirmation or conforming to things is something that oftentimes the perfectionist in the addict, I got to do it absolutely or nothing. It no half measures. We can take that to the extreme. No half measures does not necessarily mean you're standing and doing the goose step and the saluting your master that is there. It means doing what you're asked to do and doing it the way you feel guided to do it. One thing you said though, Nikki, that just to me answered the question for me on this. We were put in a position of neutrality. That's how I need to live my life in recovery, is in that place of neutrality. Yes, there may be high highs, there may be low lows, but like you said with the Chinese farmer, you know what? I am grateful for that high. Is it going to stick around? No. So I'll be grateful for it. And when the low happens, I'll go, this sucks, but it's not going to stay here like this forever. And I'll be just grateful and go with the flow. In fact, at the bottom of page 135, where we've done a lot of reading and going through here, is those three mottos, little mottos. First things first, live and let live. And then the last one, easy does it. Just go with whatever the path is that God leads me on. And I'm put in a position of neutrality and living in acceptance. Acceptance is the how's it put in those 420 pages? Acceptance is the answer to all my problems. Is that how that goes? Yeah. And in that mindset, I can then go about living my life and grateful for those adrenaline rushes, grateful for the opportunities to jump out of a plane or whatever that looks like in your life. And journal about it, be happy about it, share about it, and then accept the fact that it's not going to be that way every day. But when it happens, be grateful for it. And that's kind of my thought on that. Any other thoughts before we wrap this up, Nikki?
Yeah, you brought some tears to my eyes because we're still on page 135, and it's like the burning issue of such a matter when your more serious ailments are being rapidly cured. There was a time when Justin and I could not stop. We could not stop. We saw nothing wrong with our behavior. It was everyone else. And I speak for me and Justin because, as I said it, I'm Justin, and Justin, you're me. You're a crazy lady with curly hair. And so it's like, to our brother who wrote in, your more serious ailment of alcohol and anger and self has been has been, I'm not saying cured. What do you say? We get a daily reprieve. It's in remission. It's in remission each day. And that's why we're celebrating here. And so these little things like your little adrenaline, and what I love about you, friend, I pray this podcast, you hear it and it gets to you, because I want you to just hold yourself and hug yourself and realize that you are so self-aware of these little things. That's how awake you are, working a program. You are doing your daily meditation. You are doing your step 4 daily inventory. Your step 10, you are continuing to take personal inventory. Wow, my adrenaline's a little bit out of control. You are a man of God who is wide awake. Your more serious ailments have been taken care of. It says rapidly cured for the moment, for the daily reprieve. So easy does it. Justin said it there. Those are the slogans. They're right there in your book. One addiction at a time. No one's perfect here. We just commence shoulder to shoulder. And I'm just so grateful, because I look at my brother, and I don't know you, but I know you, friend, that, man, these burning issues aren't so burning when our serious, we were going to die. So let's laugh. Let's enjoy our day. Justin's going to take us out with a little 1-2 of maybe that prayer repeated, Justin, because wow. If you're tuning in, tune in every week with us, because this is a lifestyle that Justin and I are here for. I'm grateful for you, Justin, and the person writing in today. Love you.
Yeah. You too, Nikki. Awesome. I'm going to take us out with an experience I had this weekend, and then we'll pray it out. I was in a meeting where there was a guy speaking, and he talked about, I lived my whole life so that I could dunk on somebody's head to win a game, or hit a game winning 3-pointer from half court, and I was able to do both of those things in my playing career, and the high from that was great, but it lasted about 30 seconds, and then I was empty again. Um, I also know a young woman here locally who recently had the chance to go skydiving in Africa. I mean, what a cool thing. And, sent videos and talk and everything. And when I saw her over the weekend, she was miserable again. That didn't last. Those highs will not last. One thing I am learning is what lasts is meaning. Yes, those experiences are amazing and appreciate them and love them, but find real meaning so that those aren't the reason for my life. If that is the reason for my life, to have those experiences, my life is empty, empty. And that is where I'm going to pray us out here. Yes, emptiness is a good thing if we allow God to fill that emptiness. But if I'm trying to stuff that emptiness with these fun experiences, these highs that should just be like special occasion things, but I'm trying to force them in, that emptiness will never be filled. So let me pray us out again. God, empty us. Empty us of self, of selfishness, of self-centeredness. Fill us with the willingness to be of service to you and our fellows around us, and then use us so that we can be help to those around us and to you. Now, as I go about and live my life this way, I recognize that I have value, I have worth in this life, and it's not just to bring fun and excitement or to experience fun and excitement. It's to bring meaning, it's to bring worth, to me and to you out there because you also have worth. You're worth it, guys. Let's keep on this path.